This video is an answer to several questions now on the upcoming retreat in June 2026 in Powell River, British Columbia, which is where I am now. So here is the ocean and some nice trees, and that little corpse right there is where we're going to be doing a lot of the nature integrative practices, integration training. I don't know if integrative is a word, but it's the space we used last summer, and it's a phenomenal little area. Now, the training in June is a 30-day training, and this begins with an initiation into Hermetic alchemy. This looks at the core principles that we need to understand to really engage with this process. We look at some core variants and refinements of the energy, vibrational scale, emptiness, and I try to keep this as zero fluff as possible, so we really get to the heart of the matter, and because of this we're able to move through this initiation process over the course of that first week. Now, like any training, this is a really catalyzed version, very condensed, and we could pull apart this initial week and extend it in full-time training for several years if we really wanted to dive super deep into every single element of what we are working with. Now, because we want to offer exposure to as much of the path as we can in as short a period of time as we can, this has to, by default, remove a bunch of the auxiliary types of training that you might engage with. However, the potentials are all there. Okay? So because of the cumulative nature of the training, we are building our almost reciprocity with the energies, and every day that cumulative nature grows. So what we are able to do by and work with by day 7 is astronomically more than day 1. Okay, so this initiation, we look a lot at the foundations. What is vital energy? How do we connect with it? What are ways of strengthening it? We work with some energy strength training. How do we integrate this into nature? We come and hang out with these trees over here, and much more. We progress into a inquiry, a line of curiosity into the elements. What are the elements? Not only in the astral fluid, but how do they express through the vital world, through the astral field, the astral fluid, our own emotional systems, through the mind, the elements as they exist at each level and layer of the vibrational scale, on and on and on, through and through and through. Once again, we come here to nature, because what better way to explore the intricacies of the elements? What better way to begin than in the elements? So we progress through that, we build our equanimity substance, and we learn how to explore different aspects of body, emotion, and mind with the equanimity substance. And one thing a lot of people are often quite excited about is an exploration of the Akasha. And so we dive into that, and we work with the universal light substance. When we are able to connect with universal light through the Akasha, then we are able to run this back through the entirety of the initiation process and essentially rework our way through it from the space of light. And this really flips on our intuition, the intuitive processes that help us navigate and refine the path, that helps to magnetize us to this particular light of the spirit and our own path. Right? Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that we get an immediate flash of, oh, this is the purpose of your life. But it gives us a doorway to a truthful unfolding of that path. And this is a type of almost like a compass towards truth, towards this light of the spirit. And as we begin to learn to understand the beckonings of this compass, life begins to unfold in very interesting ways. So this is the initiation aspect of the training. There's a little traveling sauna back over there. That'd be cool. So that's the initiation part of the training. Now the next phase of the training is the invocation, the deity yoga, the evocation. And this is where we begin to unfold the working with beings, intelligences that are far more vast and comprehensive than our own. And within this practice, there are just absolute worlds of spiritual evolution that open up, especially when it comes to the act of surrender, of giving yourself over to something. And we will be furthering our connection with nature through this process, through the inclusion of not only the earth sphere, but also the lunar and solar spheres, which I consider to be the part of the real basics of the initiation, is that we extend our awareness of the environment, of that which is nature, how things arise, fall away, the yin and yang of it all. And we begin to expand the scope of our perceptions to include the forces of the lunar sphere, to include the forces of the solar sphere, and as well as the beings that are the intelligence that works through those planes and has effect on us. These are quite magnificent and large forces all around, and the evolution and refinement, the raising of vibration is very substantial during this phase of the training. And like I said, the doors that it opens as we learn to give ourselves up more and more are truly phenomenal. It really bakes in a type of humility that can be, for many of us, difficult to find when our own little ego is the one who is engineering the process, right? So a lot of amazing lessons in that section. Of course, always coming back to here, where we will, if you're training in person and not over Zoom, we will be doing some auxiliary training after the in-class sessions to help integrate a lot of this high-end stuff we're working with. The following 2 weeks, which will bring us to the full 30 days, is where we will be looking at more further integration practices, because while we can keep raising the vibration, going through that alchemy, that transmutation, pop, 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 keep going up, 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 there's a point where we need to integrate. And this can be done in a number of ways. And one of the things we're going to be exploring in that last 2 weeks will be the Amrita, which is the nectar of the gods, the jade fluid, this Amrita substance, and the relation of this, the relationship this has with the alchemy of the body, and how the evolution of the spirit helps to liberate this Amrita, this nectar of the gods, and the relationship this has to further karmic burning and further evolution and refinement along the path, how it can be a fuel source for all this. So that will be part of it, amongst much more. There may even be some further exploration in the spheric meditations, other planets of the solar system, and the powers there. There's so much that we can do in this. Anyway, I hope this was somewhat informative. If you have further questions, please let me know. And you can shoot me an email prior to registering at info@taichiinstitute.ca. The link on the website below in the description here will help you find that. Okay, so it should be a lot of fun, and hope to see you there. All right, thanks for your time. Bye.